composition of functions can be written either way. That's an open circle. And again, the way I'm saying this is f of g of x. F of g of x. Okay? That is an open circle. It's not a times symbol. So yesterday we did some problems that had a times symbol in between. These two are different. Okay? That's a closed-in dot, meaning multiply. This is an open circle, meaning of. And when you see it printed, like in the homework and stuff, it's super, super tiny. Okay? And what's really, 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 really important about composition of functions is we always work right to left. So we'll always start all the way over here and work this way. Always start right to left. It's like opposite of how you read a sentence, a book, or whatever. You know, math is not always left to right. And this is a really important concept. So let's see an example. So since the order is right to left, the order matters how it's written. So if you look at example 5, we have two given equations. Those are given to you. And we're going to find f of g of x and g of f of x. And this is all about taking something and plugging it into something else, okay? So this can be a little confusing at first. Once it clicks for you, you'll be like, oh yeah, it's really easy, okay? So we're going to start all the way to the right in this first problem, okay? We're going to start with g of x. And we're going to plug it into f of x. Right to left. I'm taking g of x, and I'm plugging it into f of x. Or you can think of it as take the g function and plug it into the f function. So, look, this is the g function. I'm going to plug it into the f function. Where do you think you plug something in this equation? X. There's only one place to put it. I'm going to take this whole thing and put it in right there. So I will have 2, that's this 2, take out this x and plug in g of x. Minus x. So I took g of x, I picked it up. Think about like if I had like a spatula. I'm going to scoop it up. That's a bad way. Let me call it a spoon. I take a spoon, I take g of x, and where am I going to put it? I'm going to put it inside of f of x. So I took out this x and I plugged in whatever is in there. And then I simplify it. That's the answer. That's it. It's combining. Think of composition as combining, taking two functions and mixing them together in a very specific order. Let's do another one. If this is the other way, f of x goes into g of x. So I'm going to take the whole f of x, whatever f of x is. Who cares what it is? They gave it to us, we just take it. And we plug it into g of x. Where am I going to plug into g of x? Wherever there's an x. There could be more than one x in a problem too, so you would put it in both places. So I have 3, and then instead of x, I'm going to put all of that in. And then simplify it. Distribute. Are you guys seeing it? It's a little confusing at first. Okay, so this is one type of problem we're going to have, where you take one function and plug it into another one. You always plug in for the variable. Okay, remember that. You always plug in for the variable. Now, there's one other type of problem that goes right along with this. I'm going to use the same two given equations. I'm just rewriting them on my second sheet while you guys are catching up to me, so I don't have to keep going back. You probably are all still on the same sheet of paper. I just write so dang big. Okay. So these are the same equations. Don't write them again. Look at how these are written. These are written like the second way I showed you. And what's different here also is in place of x, they put a 2. So remember how I said we always work right to left? Well, when we had an x there, go back for a second. When you have an x there, you plug x into g, well, there it is, and then take that and plug it into f. So when there's an x there, you're just going to take the whole function and plug it in. But when there's a number there, you're going to plug 2 into the f function. Whatever you get there goes into the g function. So I'm going to take, right, this is always x. I'm going to put 2 in place of x in the f function. So for this part right here, I'm going to do 2, take out this x, plug in whatever number they gave me, minus 5, and simplify it. So when I plug a 2 into the f function, I get negative 1. But we're not done, because we have to go all the way to the end. Now we're going to plug into the g function. Guess what we're going to plug into the g function? Negative 1. So I plugged my 2 into the f function. Whatever I get, keep going to the left, I plug into the g function. So that would be 3 times negative 1. Here's my g function. And I get negative 3. Whatever I get as my final answer is my answer. Okay? Think of it like this. Like, if you've ever baked, like, cookies from scratch, like Nestle Toll House or whatever, like, you take a bowl and you mix some stuff in it. So that was my first step. And then you take that and you mix it with, like, the other ingredients. It's like slowly putting stuff into functions. We plug 2 into the f function. Whatever we get, we plug into the g function. Let's do another one. Just right to left, though. Plug negative 3 into the g function. Whatever we get, we plug into the f function. Negative 3 into g would be 3 times negative 3. Right? Just plugging in right there. And I get negative 9. Keep going. I'm going to plug into the f function. F function, right here. 2 times negative 9 minus 5. So you don't plug the negative 3 in again. We already used it. It's already mixed it. Final answer is a negative 23. So sometimes you plug a whole function into another function and you end up with a function. You're still going to have an x in your answer. That was the first type. When we actually plug a number into the function, we're going to end up with a number. Okay? Okay. So let me do one more example here for you. If I, using these same givens, what if I said to you, g of g, looks funny, g of x. Can I plug g of x back into itself? Yes, I can. Right to left, I'm going to take g of x and plug it into g of x. Well, here's g of x right here. So I'm going to take g of x, which is 3x, and I'm going to plug it into itself. Where do you plug in? No, just tell me who this is. Mr. Okay. Miss? Oh, okay. I think it said Mr. It's like, I only know this is. Okay. So g of x into g of x. So I'm going to take 3 of x and plug back into g of x. Where do I plug back in? For x. So you would have 3 times 3x, which is 9x. It is a little confusing, okay? But just think, actually I want to say this, don't overthink. Take whatever function it is and say, okay, I've got it in my hand. Think of it like, whatever it is, it's right here. So I have my 3 of x right here. Okay, where do you want me to put it? You want me to put it in g of x? Okay, where do I plug into g of x? I plug in for x. Okay, I have g of x in my hand right here, so I have 3 of x, and I want to plug it into f of x. Where do I plug into f of x? Right there. Just think about what you are doing. Don't get too hung up on all the x's and all that stuff. Like, take this and plug it in where, okay? Let's go to, did you guys write the homework down? I feel like a lot of you got a late start. So let's go to page 314 and 315. I am not overloading you with a lot of homework. That doesn't mean just copy my answers and get out your phone. Take it seriously. Do the work. Okay, so let me help you get started by doing number 13 with you. So you should all be looking at number 13. So you don't have to write this down. I'm going to, though. So these are what's given. The directions want us to find f of g of x and g of f of x. So you're going to have 2 answers for each problem. There's 2 problems. Okay, so that's what's given to you. Here, we're going to find these 2. Right to left. That matters. Okay, so we're going to take g of x and plug it into f of x. So go find g of x. Here it is. Who cares what's in this box? Whatever I just boxed in purple, that's g of x. Don't even look at it. Just know that there's a g of x. And I'm going to take that, and I'm going to pick it up off the paper, and I'm going to plug it into f of x. Okay, here's f of x. Where am I allowed to plug something in? Do I replace a 2 with it? No, I plug in right here. So I'm just putting this right in there. So I would have 2, right? That's this 2 right here. And instead of this, bye-bye, goes that. And then I simplify it. Distribute. And that's the final answer for f of g of x. Let's do the same thing, but starting with f of x. So let's go find f of x, and we're going to plug it into g of x. So, I crossed out, but that was next. Here's f of x right here. Whatever comes after the equal sign, that is f of x. Scoop it up, drop it into g of x. Where can we drop in? Right there. So I'm going to put 2x right here, and I don't even need parentheses, plus 5. And there's nothing to distribute or anything. That's the final answer. Okay. Now I didn't show work on here, so these will be the second answers. I'm going to come around and help you guys. So 13 and 14, I already did 13 with you. 14.